So I try to speak about both sides, and I try to be more fair now. And part of that is acknowledging when we're wrong. Part of it is acknowledging our weaknesses on the left, and a part of it is acknowledging when Republicans say stuff that is actually true and correct. There's a Republican, Eric Erickson, and he made a comment. He said a tweet. He said, "A lot of smart people out here saying the GOP was so focused on Dr. Seuss they couldn't mount effective opposition to the COVID plan. I think they need to learn what I've been started learning. More voters will remember Dr. Seuss than vote when they vote than the COVID plan." And I learned about this on what's this, John Iderola, first time I pronounced his name right, on the Damage Report. And I heard him say it. A lot of his stuff is bashing the right. A lot of his stuff is like bashing Republicans and how out of touch with reality they are, and that's okay. That's good. But I heard it and I immediately knew it's Veritas. I immediately knew that this is correct. And that's sad. It's sad that no matter how far we get on the left, as a movement, moving towards liberation, moving towards a better society, a more well-rounded society, as we are able to pass bills that really help the working man and help the common person, the Republican Party can always run out here and talk about drag queens and cannibal pedophiles and canceling Dr. Seuss. Now, context. These are books I don't think anybody's really ever read, and this wasn't canceled because the people themselves decided to take those books down. That's not canceling. They didn't even censorship because canceling would be if obviously like if they got to the publisher or something like that. But canceling is really like if everybody in this apartment complex was like they don't want me doing something, and I was like, you know what, I don't want no trouble, I want to stay here, so I'll stop doing it. That's canceling. That's canceling. If people say like we don't like your music or we don't like the way you dress or something, I'm like, you know what, I don't want no trouble, I'm gonna stop. But if I decide on my own and no one said nothing to me about something, that's not canceling. It's not canceling. You can't make a case for that. But we know this goes back to this idea that the Caucasian is losing his culture. That the masks weren't about dealing with the pandemic. The masks were about emasculating the white male. And you've heard all this shit. I've heard all this shit. Come on. That's sad to me. That like in the future, as we have these new crises and whatever next disaster we have, it'll always be a conspiracy theory. With Texas, you had fake snow. I remember back during Katrina, people were talking about God made the storm to happen because God was cursing New Orleans. Yeah, I remember that type of stuff. I heard that stuff back then. Westboro Baptist Church and things like that. This is just the future Republican Party. That every time there's a crisis, they'll come up with some stupid comment, some stupid idea, and people, weak-minded people, will go along with it. That's sad to me. That is actually kind of depressing. That's kind of depressing. It makes me pessimistic about humanity to know and understand that no matter, because I think sometimes the left, we just think that if we get policies out there to help people and advance society, that people will get it. And I talk about it often. Republican Party calling everybody a communist and everything communism and socialism, and even when that storm happened in Texas, and the mayor out there was like, "This is a socialist society" and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, people are dying out here. And it just is another reminder of this is the kind of ideology these people have. And then when he apologized, he was like, "You misunderstood me." No, we didn't misunderstand you at all. We understood very, very well what you said, what you meant. It's very clear. Um, but when they do that, and then we're able to do something to help people, he says, "Look, you're never going to win against that." And Michael Brooks talked about that, like with Bernie Sanders, that they're going to just scream at him. He's just like, "He's a communist. He's a communist. He's a godless." You're never going to win against that. You know, and that if he was Bernie, he would have just said, "Look, I'm trying to fulfill what FDR started." That's it. So Michael said, "You're never going to win about that." Because when they scream socialism, they're not talking about what's in the book. They're talking about you're taking our culture. You hate America. You want to destroy America. All the stereotypes. Communist is almost like a conspiracy theory word. It's like calling somebody a boogeyman now. And I know most people are stupid. Most people don't even know who Marx or Trotsky was. They don't know. They don't know or care. They don't have to. Most folks don't know about the Third International and all. No, people don't know what that shit is. Most folks have never read Capital and probably never will. And they don't have to. Most folks don't know any of that kind of stuff. Other than, Stalin fighting in World War II, that's about as far as it goes. I think that, them calling everything socialist and communist, if we can get stuff out to benefit people, it weakens that word. You understand? It weakens it to where it's like, yeah, he may be a communist, but at least my lights are on. At least we got heat. That's the point. We're not going to win with these people because Republican Party is going to always go back to the boogeyman, and it's good to see that in recent years, the young people, that those words don't have as much impact with the young people. That's good. That's good. That's a good thing to see that because you've called everything a communist. It's like they say the race card, you throw in a communist card every 5 minutes. They throw it. Can't do that, man. Look, he's right. He's right. He's actually right that that most people are probably going to remember Dr. Seuss being canceled or so-called canceled than they will COVID relief bills that put food on the table and keep the lights on, and that's sad. And it further for me redefines the fact that I've lost faith in humanity. I've lost faith in America. I've lost faith in the American population 100%. I'm embarrassed being American. And every day I'm a little bit more embarrassed. And I look at Europe. I talked about yesterday the Europeans, the International Criminal Court, choosing to actually carry out an investigation upon Israel and Israeli war crimes. That's awesome. And the European Union standing up behind them. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm gonna tell you that right there, man. That made me smile, and to see America back that shit, it's like, hey, this is what America is, man. They didn't expect no better. To see once again, America's the bad guys, man. We the bad guys, and every day has further defined and underlined for me as an American. There's other things we want to do as a society. There's things people talk about universal basic income, things of that nature, and it makes me think once again, even if we did that, they're gonna always go back to screaming about the little stuff they find, the conspiracy theories. I remember Alex Jones used to talk a lot about what was it, drag queens reading books to kids at libraries and shit. And then there was one, what was it? I remember Alex had a video he put up of some guy. I don't know if he was transgender or what, the makeup and the nails. And dude was in a GameStop and he was like getting mad at the people in there. And Alex was like, oh, look at him, making fun of him and shit. you're always gonna have that. You're always gonna have that. You're always gonna have this simpleton, know nothing, stupid shit. You can't win with those people. You can't, and that's what I feel here. If I've talked about how right wing black people are in the South, that if you didn't have the poverty and the racism of the South, a lot of black people would vote Republican. A lot more. No doubt. A lot more would vote Republican. No doubt in my mind. And that, in a lot of ways, when you piece everything aside, you peel the onion. A lot of black people don't like Hispanics. I'm talking about the Mexicans coming over the border. A lot of them don't, or a lot of them don't have no positive thoughts about them. I won't say do something to them. They don't. No, I saw that in Arkansas. A lot of them don't like that. The homophobic stuff, the war, the military stuff. A lot of black folks into that stuff. A lot more than you think. The idea that the population in 2033 or 36 or whatever is going to be more black, more brown, that ain't necessarily a good thing. That ain't necessarily the cure-all. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I just think that this is a dumbed-down society. It's a dumbed-down country. And it's a dumbed-down culture. And that's how you're able to overrule things that benefit the people by screaming about gay people and transgender bathrooms and Dr. Seuss. That's how. In a dumbed down society in which people are, because it's just like system of capitalism, isn't it? You have these people that make minimum wage or less defending Elon Musk. Just like what? Defending these guys that make more than everybody you know and love will in a lifetime combined. And you defend the shit they do. I remember hearing years ago that that's what America is. That it's a nation of people who are billionaires. They ain't got the money yet. That's it. I mean, I watched the video of Gun Girl where she was talking to these people. They were talking about leftist stuff. This Hobley guy. She kept talking about Biden's son, talking about the video, him showing his butthole and stuff. And they're like, they don't care about that. We don't care about it. He's a grown man. And the homeless guy was like, oh, yeah, I used to be like you. And he's like, I want the rich man to win. I'm just like, wow, like, you don't get it. You're homeless. And you're fighting for the status quo. Wow. Like, I just watched that video and that hit me like this is the mind control. That you're out here struggling and we have stuff that could be passed, that could have helped you here, there, different bills that didn't pass. You've been cheated all along the way. And you like it. And you want to continue you want this to continue. Like that's crazy, man. Like you feel better about being homeless and sleeping under a bridge as long as you get to call somebody a faggot. As long as you get to call somebody a nigga. Like that makes it all okay. You as long as you can do that. As long as you have the right to call somebody names and disrespect people, misgender people, you're willing to sleep under a bridge. You're willing to sleep in a car. You're willing to wash dishes for the rest of your life. That's literally how they. I mean, it's more complicated. But that's literally what you're dealing with. Like they're compartmentalized, and that's what this is. That's what this tweet speaks to, and it's another example of a right winger Republican saying something that it's actually true. I mean, I talked to you guys about QAnon. Let's understand, America's done a lot of shit. This government's done a lot of shit all over the world, kidnapping and assassinating people and things like that. QAnon is a bunch of people who are tired of the bullshit. Now, where it goes on a rabbit hole. but I understand the basis of it. I understand the basics of it. And I see it's like the Baader Meinhof gang in Germany after World War II and all that. These were kids that grew up that were disgusted with the idea they were coming up as a descendants of a Nazi war crime state in essence. They were bothered by that. This is the result of that. Same thing with QAnon. We've been at war for 20 years on the basis of a lie. You're going to have people that take that truth, twist it, and run with it. But ultimately, they're saying the same things I'm saying to a certain extent about the wiretap and about the spying, about the droning, about the assassinations. Hey, there's some stuff they probably talk about that might make sense. But what happens when I call it the turd in the punch bowl. That's what I call it. The turd in the punch bowl. You're taking something that's so beautiful and just the best punch in the world, and you're putting something in it to foul it. You're putting something in it, something that attracts people, and you're defiling it. That's what that is. It's a shame. Thanks for listening.